Alright, next we have Ajani, which didn't feel like a playable card to me for Modern, but I think Spike was putting it in some decks yesterday, or Young Dingo. A 1/2 for 2 legendary creature, Cat Warrior. When it enters the battlefield, you get a 2/1 token, also Cat Warrior, white. And whenever one or more other cats you control die, you may exile Ajani, flip it. So free power, free toughness for 2 mana is like not very good. Turns into a planeswalker with free loyalty, says +2, put a +1/+1 counter on each cat you control, which could be good. 0, create a 2/1 white cat warrior token. When you do, if you control a red permanent other than Ajani, deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to any targets. I never read that part somehow. It's pretty strong. -4, each opponent choose an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from non-land permanent control. It's like a mini cataclysm. Pretty good. You can flip it to the legend roll, or you can just play 2, legend roll it. Do you play more cats, or do the main creatures are cats? Cat Gym deck. The Ocelot Pride is a cat, yeah. Did Spike and Young Dingo play that card a bunch yesterday? Did anyone watch? I think Convoke was Ocelot Pride. So the Knight Errant. Collector's Cage, yeah. What cats are good enough? I mean, there's Wild Nikadal and the Brawler and stuff. Played it in the Hideaway deck. Spike played it in his Collector's Cage deck. It was impressive. Yeah, we already discussed Raptor yesterday. Alright, sounds like we rated some other white cards a 6 that might, and that card might just be better. Should we give it a 6, a 6.5? For reference, we gave Philia, the 2/2 that blinks, a 6. I think we gave Wrath of the Skies a 6. Comfortable with a 6.5. I mean, that's fair. Sounds like card's pretty good. It's a perfect tribal cat card. MX rated it was a perfect 10. Alright, so that's one of the ones that come into play untapped. 2 mana, deals free damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Kills a Grief, kills a Scam Grief, kills Ragavan, kills the Coddle Brawl. I mean, kills a lot, actually. I have no idea how we're going to raid these lands. I mean, I guess the ones that are likely to be played in Charwilcher in the Oops All Spells deck, so the non-white ones mostly. Is this one going to see any play? See it as an extra Ganjo. Yeah, but it adds up, right? How many of these lands are going to play in your deck? That's normal, I guess you played barely. Alright, should we not raid that one? If we don't think it's going to see play, we should just not raid it. Alright, let's not raid it. We haven't raided anything worse than a free. What about the Witch Enchanter? Also comes into play on tap, right? This one kills a Saga, kills an Amulet. Seems more relevant, but still, like, who's going to play that card? I feel like... I mean, Spike has put the Ymir Skull one in a bunch of decks. But Ymir Skull's just win con. This is... Tutorable was Recruiter. Oh, that's cool. Because of Imperial Guard and Mario Emiria. Oh, the land that brings back creatures. Alright, sounds like, well, we should give it almost a 6. If we think Recruiter of the Guard's going to see play, then that card's going to be a really solid role player. Or is 6 too high? 5. I think at least 5.5. Alright, let's do 5.5. Free life, 1 for free flash. When it enters the battlefield, you may change a target of target instance or sorcery spell with a single target to hits. Huh. I mean, 1 for flash for free, sometimes all you need. It deals with Ragavan, it doesn't get bolted. You're playing maybe. Don't really want to play Freelance in your control deck. No one's going to have room for that, right? Yeah, I'm not going to rate it. I don't think that one's going to see play, right? On the other hand, sink into stupor. Return target spell or non-land permanent to an opponent controls its owner's hand. Not great either. Not great at all. Does anyone like that card? I think free life is just too much when you have a bunch of aggressive decks in Modern. Low opportunity cost? Nah, man, there's like Blood Moons, Winter Moons, aggressive decks. The effect is like purposely terrible and overcosted. What color does Belcher want? It's like green-red usually, right? Unless you rebuild it, but they usually play a bunch of red rituals, treasure cards, the reshape, the clash cards. So base red green. Yeah. I mean it's true. There's Auto War, and Auto War basically doesn't see play. Land that can be found in Narset. Yeah, but we already had those, and Narset doesn't see a kind of play. Does get around Cascades, but still the effect is like really terrible. And Cascade doesn't play a ton of lands and barely has enough rooms for the lands. Yeah, it's no good. Alright, Tamiyo. Pretty strong card. 1 mana. Legendary creature, Moonfolk Wizard, flying, 0-3. When it attacks, you investigate, meaning you get a clue. When you draw your third card in a turn, exile, then return. Okay, so you don't have a choice, you have to. And then the flip side starts with 2/2 until your next turn. Whenever a creature attacks, you or planeswalker you control gets -1, -0 until end of turn. Just kind of effective. You know, you do have Bowmasters, Young Wolf, Halflings, even Ragavan slows them down a bit. -3 target, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's a green card, add a mana. The effect is pretty weak. The Planeswalker is extremely weak. But the front side's kind of nice. I guess I should rate. What does the -7 do? -7, draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your library. Round it up. Okay, you draw half your deck. Nice. There's a Wizards for Flame. It blocks Ragavan. It makes artifacts for your Urza, potentially. I mean, people, if you want to try and play the blue flare, it's also one of the cheap playable blue creatures. It also just takes over the game, right? In a control deck, if you play that and the new Frog in a blue-black deck, it is a slowish engine, but if people don't kill it and stuff, it's a ton of card advantage eventually. Almost 1 mana Ren 6. Ren 6 does dice to Lightning Bolt. Hey Bino. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome everyone. Settle in, settle down. We're doing a little set review for MH3. Focused on Modern, obviously. I would give it an 8. I think that card's just really powerful. It can be like a build around, just kind of protect, you know, kind of. I mean, now you have Ragavan. You have Ragavan and Tamiyo if you're playing blue-reds. You have two cheap must-kill. You have the Frog if you want to be blue-black, or if you want to be Grixis, maybe. You play these three. They're kind of like takeover on their own. 7.5. I think I would give it an 8. Maybe 8.5. Oh, Alice says, Braga and Tamiyo, we can now force Mox Amber. Mox Amber is kind of a sketchy card, but it is. You do have another good cheap legend. It could be, I agree, it could end up being the most impactful card in the set. I mean, it might even be good in Affinity, right? Just getting artifacts every turn. Cheap blue card. Alright, 8 or 8.5? Eight, 8.5, 8. Alright, let's give it an 8 then. Well, we gave Naidu a 9. Naidu's only 9 so far. 0, not a cat. It's still nice to Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push. So does Ragavan. Ragavan might still be like scarier card. Let's give it an 8, but free one for free. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, and it's untapped black. So black, we're getting in the colors of the self-mill Oops All Spells, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what that deck really looks like or how badly it needs more of these lands. Does she count as green on the front side? No. Also a Goblin. Yeah, but Goblin has like other lands they need to play. Why is it so relevant that it's a Goblin? I guess you can find it. You can find Goblins sometimes does struggle to hit their land drops. Matron. We know Citrino. We're aware. We're aware of your preferences. Taken says, I think modern Oops All Spells needed more Black Bolt lands. Should we give it like a 7 then? Like really solid role player for a few decks? So no, we're giving everything 6s. Maybe 6.5? 5, 6, 4 at most. 6.4. Or I could give it just a 6 then. Then Felda Profane. 4 mana for removal spell, creature or planeswalker, which is not really the kind of removal you want in the Oops All Spells deck, right? You probably need to get rid of like artifacts and enchantments more than creatures and planeswalkers. And I don't know if the fairy deck really wants to pay that much life. But it is in the colors of the self-mill Oops All Spell deck, which is nice. It is still better than the one we used to have, right? The like one that brings back. Maybe give it a 4. It is kind of a slightly better one, right? If you want to play the Grief, like the Grief sticks used to play the black X, and this is probably more impactful. Kind of talking myself into giving it a 5 actually, because it's in the colors of Grief. People actually play mono black. Slightly better than Mauling. I'd say a bit more than slightly better. Maybe I'll give this one a 5. .5, whatever. Alright, Saurin House Markov. Black 1. I think Spike had that in his A tier, and I was surprised because I guess I didn't really read the card, or it didn't strike me as like 1 for a lifelink for 2 exhort, which means whenever you cast a spell you may pay white or black mana. If you do, you drain them for 1. Each opponent, I mean, I guess it's better in Commander. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, so technically the turn you cast it, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, exile Saurin of House Markov, then return him to the battlefield transformed under its owner's controller. Also has Exhort, free loyalty, +2 create a food token. Not very exciting, but it is a lot of loyalty. -1, it deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn to any target. That's pretty strong. So technically you can play it, flip it, minus it, and deal 3 damage. And then -6, gain control of target creature, it becomes a vamp. Put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white opponent other than that creature or Saurin. You can turn 2, hit people for 12 with this thing. Okay, I was gonna ask, what are the combos? What are the combos to flip it on turn 2, if any? Plus, it gets me a feeling of deja vu. Dun dun dun. Nourishing Shoal. What about more realistic? You play it on 2, untap, attack, that's 1 life. I mean, it's not trivial to gain Freyalise. T1 Martyr, turn 2 Saurin, Mux Amber, gets you cast and activate Martyr, then you deal 3 per white card on hand. That's your 12 damage for the perfect draw. I mean, it doesn't sound like a playable deck that you have there with your Mux Ambers and Martyr and black cards, but in theory, sure. What about as a value card? Would any current deck just run that card? Yogg doesn't gain life, right? Really? Asthma Foods. 2-mana cards are really good in Asthma Food because you usually want to go one mana versus Saigon 2. So it's kind of a nice casting cost. Asthma Food has basically no free slots anyways. Yeah, but I mean, if a card's better... I mean, I wouldn't say every card in the Asthma Food deck is, like, super exciting. You got, like, Profane Tutor, you got the numbers of each card you play, you got the removal, the discard spells you play. I don't really see it, though. That card seems kind of weakish to me. I'd give it max a 6 if really people think it's good. Maybe 5.5. Hey, I'll take 6, really? People are, okay, I'll give it a 6, I guess. Then even a 5. I mean, I don't think that card's ever going to see play in a tier 1 deck. Like, the odds are, like, incredibly low, so I feel like 6 is pretty high, but sounds like a lot of people like that card. Pinnacle Monk. Okay, good colors for Belcher. 2/2 price for 5. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your to your hand. I mean, it does stuff. What's the other red one? Destroy target land. Because red actually already has some good ones, right? I guess not Shatter, because Shatter Skull Smashing doesn't do anything. Destroy target land for 3 mana. Its controller may search a life 6 in the mirror match. You have to play 4. Don't know in the mirror, so that one's probably better than the Monk. The A-Land said it's somewhat bad for Belcher because of creativity. Oh, the Monk. That's funny. That's corner case. So what, should we not trade the Monk but trade the Eruption, or... I mean, the Eruption is not the worst sideboard card for some decks. cards are sorted by color, kind of. Except now it's like the flip cards, just using Scryfall. Alright, well, I'm not gonna rate the monk. Well, let's... Alright, the latest 5-0 list has... It's a red-green deck. Let's simplify it to red-green. And it has to play the blue land. It has to play 5. This one's probably legit good, right? Even though it comes into play tapped. This one too. This one's kind of a brick. 9. This one, I don't know, I'm assuming you would still play that one, even though it comes into play tap, but maybe not. 5 off color plus 7 tap right now. Any Belcher decks in chat? Or any Belcher players in chat know, like, you feel like you'd be happier having Hazard or having an untapped plant? Here, Belcher. What's the red-green dual land? Brick. But it is a dual land. Or Seagate, so what did we say? 5 off color and 7 tapped. Okay, so we don't need to raid the monk, unlikely. Give the eruption, always do Raw first. The more untapped, the better. Yeah, but like Spikefield Hazard seems important, right? Dragavan seems like an insane card against you. It's 5 off color and 11 tapped. Oh yeah, because but I don't know. I'm assuming that effect's pretty good in the Belcher deck, but I could be wrong. All right, let's rate Ral first. Ral, Little Monsoon Mage, 1/3 Human Wizards. I think it does Baral, right? Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So Baral's ability. Whenever you cast an instant, it's also a Human Wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell during your turn, flip a coin. If you lose a flip, it deals 1 damage to you. If you win the flip, you may exile it. If you do, return it. And then it flips into a 2 loyalty planeswalker. It enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on him for each instant or sorcery spell you've cast this turn. So let's say 3. +1 until your next turn. Instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Okay, not very exciting. That's already what the front side did. -2, it deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Draw a card if you control a blue, permanent, auto, and Ral. That part's pretty strong. And then -8, let's not even bother. I mean, let's read it. Exile the top 8 cards of the library. You may cast instant and sorcery spell from them without paying their mana cost. I mean, dice to removal. Baral doesn't see play and is arguably better. Should we even raid deck cards? Give it a 4? I mean, you might have some mono red deck, right? But would that even be good in a mono red storm deck? Is that ever better than a ruby, than a medallion? Alright, I'm gonna give it a 4. It might actually see play, but it's probably gonna be bad. So that's like a 4 in my book, I guess. Alright, Sundering and Eruption. That seems like one of the better ones that come into play untapped. Especially if you assume this card is played, it means this card is good against in the mirrors. It's just like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It like snowballs, so technically it could be a 10 out of 10. Most important card in the most important matchup. Could be the best card in the set. There's a universe where Sundering Eruption is just the best card in Modern. I mean, if we gave the black one a 6, this one could see some play in fair decks too, I guess. Should we give that one a 6 as well? The black one could see play in a fair deck. This one's just not going to see play in a fair deck. I don't think so. Maybe. I'll give it a 6.5. I like that kind of effect too. If I can find it. It has potential. The green one's bad. Actually, the green one's effect is really nice. It's not the worst removal spell ever. Not sure who would ever play that though. No one. Maybe Scales? Is Scales interested in an extra, like... Scales has 6 forests in it. Would Scales ever play that card? Do you need 6 basics? Should we give it, what, a 5, maybe? Let's give it a 5. Alright, Disciple. That's the Titan one. Pactable, untapped green source. Also, the creature part is just fine, right, in some games. Disciple of Freyalise. 6 mana, free. Eldred, when it enters the battlefield, you may sack another creature. If you do, you gain X life and draw X cards where X that creature's power. Oh, it's also an elf for Nissa. Not the worst Nissa hit. I don't know if Omnath would ever want to play that, but it is a Nissa hit. You sack it to itself in paper. In paper, maybe. You don't think it's an auto-include in Titan? Titan players sounded pretty excited. I would give that card, I don't know, a 7, probably. Oh, you can blink it as a land? Oh, it was like Flicker Wisp? How do you blink a land in Modern? Alright, what are we rating it? A 7? 7.5? 7 or 8, 6. Titan player 7? I feel like Titan player 8 or something, but general like 7 or 7.5, 6. Yeah, I want to give it at least a 7. I think it's 7 or 7.5. A lot of people said under 7. Alright, I'm going to give it a 7. I feel like maybe that's a little low. Alright, next, Grist Voracious Larva. So 1/2 for a green, Death Touch, legendary creature, insect. Ooh, so you get more ways to mill insect with the other Grist. That's nice. Whenever Grist or another creature enters a battlefield under your control, if it entered from a graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, you may pay a green. If you do, exile Grist and return it transforms into free loyalty planeswalker with +1, create a 1/1 insect, then mill 2 cards, put a Death Touch counter on the token if a black card was milled this way. -2, destroy target artifact. Man, it does really busted things. -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. -6 for each creature in your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it. Wow. I didn't read that card too many times. I forgot how good it was. You can flip it on turn 2 was Bloodghast is somewhat easy, like Stitcher, Supplier, Bloodghast. Young Wolf, I guess, but how do you sack your Young Wolf? I'm not sure. Unearth, but you need a creature in the yard. Ooh, Phyrexian Tower. Nice, yeah. Young Wolf plus Green Flare. Also just, you could play a Grist and play another one, Legend Rule it, Unearth it. I guess you need the green mana, that doesn't work. It is a little more work than a Tamiyo. A Tamiyo you just play on turn 1, and then you just have to attack. But this one, they can't really kill it. Well, they can kill it. Well, it depends if you have Unearth or something in your deck, but Unearth's not a very good Magic card. It also doesn't do anything against Graveyard Hate. You're doubling down on Graveyard Hate stuff, or you're doubling down on Graveyard Synergies, which is always a little scary. The backside is actually super strong though, that is true, so you do get paid off for your extra work. But it still feels like you're going to have to build your deck in ways that they're really worth it, you know? When you have the other Grist already in your deck that's kind of a better card and no effort and about the same amount of mana. Hey Claudio, Claudio says the way I see it, it's a lot of payoff for little investment. I mean, depends how differently you have to build your deck. You can just court for a Death Touch creature as well. I mean, what are you going to do? Start playing Unearth in your Yogg deck? Goes well with the Bones, the Emperor of Bones and stuff. Did you miss the sexy Saurin discussion? You did. Maybe a decent card for Dredge. I mean, the mana is awkward. And if you're casting that on turn 1, it means you're not casting an Enabler. It was a Nightmare. Turn on this. Turn on Supplier. Nightmare. I feel like Grist is a different deck. It's like a fully... You're pretty much going to have to fully build your deck around it, or just play one in a deck like Yogg just as a core target, and because it's fine utility. You never really want to draw 2, but you're kind of okay drawing the first one. It can kind of be good, and the upside is worth it. The problem is if you build around that card, it probably means your deck is almost 100% reliant on the graveyard, and that's kind of a risky strat in Modern. We have this to me, but I don't think Yogg really wants Green Flare that badly. I mean, if it turns out Yogg wants Green Flare, wants to play 4 Young Wolf, 4 Green Flare, and Strangleroot Geist, then Grist becomes way more appealing. But I'm not sold. So solid, maybe solid 1 or 2 ups in some decks, and then potential build around decent cards. So a 6.5 maybe? Why did we give Tamiyo? We gave Tamiyo an 8, but I feel like Tamiyo just... You really, don't need to do much to have Tamiyo be good. 6.5? 7? I don't think I'm willing to go above 7. I'd almost go as low as 6, but that might be too low. Alright, let's do 6.5. Tamiyo is so easy to flip. Yeah, but it's not even clear you want to flip Tamiyo. I'm guessing most games are going to be happy just... I mean, maybe if Fury was still legal. A gold card. Is this one going to be good because the Eldrazi decks are likely to be blue-green and it goes under your Labyrinth. Is a blue-green Eldrazi deck gonna want... Did Spike have that card in his deck yesterday? I think he was... The first deck he played was Eldrazi, right? He did. Team comment on it. He had 4. So, should we give it a 6? I mean, if we're rating all these Eldrazi high and the Labyrinth high, we should probably rate that card high. $6.5. He's uncertain. Ugreen Eldrazi is a deck. Oh, it's also a decent one to flicker. Alright, let's give it 6.5. Their conclusions seem to be that Grist is good. Till end of turn, double target creature's powers and it gains first strike. No, if it's a white-red tap land. Double targets creature's power. That card's not playable, right? Ophelia and Nacre Dominance look good. Blue-green didn't print for a while for Spike. It was a bit clunky and slow. 6 seems high. Alright, let's put it down to a 6. Alright, let's put it down to 5.5, I guess. Revitalizing Repass. +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it gains indestructible. Black-green. You think every MDFC is more powerful than it reads? Are they though? I mean, the ones that exist barely see play, right? Repass seems really good, really? Why? Sounds like you have something specific in mind. The bar for coin play tap land in Modern is just so high. Why is that fine? Really good for scales? Coming to play tap land for scales? Or for any deck for that matter. And it's not even the right colors, right? Oh man, that card's gonna see play. Draw 2 cards and discard a card at random unless you pay 2 energy. Hey Ted, good morning. A Rush of Inspiration. Is that effect good enough to put on a land? Doesn't seem that good. Is that Lutri on the art? I don't think so. 3 mana enchant creature. It gets +1/+1 for each creature and or enchantment you control. Is that one? Enchantress is not the worst deck in Modern. And then Stomp. Maybe the red-green one would be good just because it's in the right colors for Belcher. I'm not sure how bad the mana is in a Belcher deck. Let's see. Currently, you want to be able to cast Strike It Rich on the 1 or 2, and then your hazards, and a ritual, and then which green cards. And then you own green, and right now you have 4 sources of green, 7 sources of green, Manamorphose to fix a bit, and then you have how many sources of red? 4, 8, 12. So the mana is truly horrendous right now. So dual land would actually be kind of a big deal. I guess never mind. You're getting to replace the 5 off color. So you're going from, well, what did we say, 12 and 7? So you can add like 2 reds and 2 green or 3 reds. So you're going up to like 15 and 10, which is a bit better, but still bad. So Stomp could be useful. Maybe give it a 5, a 4. Maybe give it a 4. 4.5. Just because it's the right colors. Suppression Ray. Tap all creatures target player control. You may pay X energy and okay. Hazy Games. You need 1 white land for an Omega complicated line to kill if Belcher and Ascension doesn't work. Oh, to cast Call? Hey, Padital, what's up, bud? And then the blue-black one. 4 mana, instant, search your library for an instant card or a card with flash, reveal it, then put it in your hand and shuffle. Is that card playable? I think someone mentioned something about the blue-black one, but I'm not seeing it right now.